Today, I'm sharing 5 fun and creative ways to brand your business at home. We're going to be making everything from a branded shirt and bag to mugs, a doormat, and my personal favorite, a dry erase board. I have been wanting to do this for a while and I'm excited to be partnering with Cricut to help tackle these projects. So many thanks to Cricut for sponsoring this video. Also, everything that was used for each of these projects will be linked in the description box below should you also want to do these projects. The first project is creating a branded dry erase board. I got this idea from Judy the organizer, whose video I will link in the description box below. She had made a couple and I thought, wow, I need one of those in the office. It's a very DIY friendly project. The items used to create the board included an 18 by 24 inch piece of plexiglass. This one is 1/4 inch thick. It needs to be thick enough so that it does not bend. A piece of scrap wood, a drill, painter's tape, a 27/64 drill bit, and a marker. The corners were all taped off as well as the intersection of where the corners met. This is where the hole is going to be drilled, and the tape, along with the film that is on either side of the plexiglass, will help prevent it from cracking when it's drilled. A little circle was also drawn for all of the proposed drill holes. The scrap wood was positioned underneath the plexiglass and each hole was then drilled. For this project, I would like to add the organization station logo to the top of this acrylic board. Cricut is a smart cutting machine that allows you to create personalized projects with hundreds of materials. It works with a software called Design Space that comes free with your machine. This is where you can create your project and browse from hundreds of images and fonts. Once you've created your design, Design Space will then send it to your machine to cut. For this design, I am uploading the brand's logo into Design Space and then removing all of the white background color in the JPEG so that it leaves just the lettering and the little house symbol that wraps around it. Once it is sized and ready to go, it's sent to the machine to cut. For this particular project, I am going to turn on the mirroring option because it is going to be mounted on the back of the plexiglass board. This will make it easier to clean and wipe down the board. I am using smart vinyl for these projects, which means that no mat is required. Next up is the fun part, weeding. There is something very relaxing about this process. All of the extra vinyl is removed, leaving us with just the logo. After all of the outsides are removed, I use the weeder tool to remove all of the insides of the letters O's, A, and the R. Transfer paper is then cut to size and placed on top of the weeded vinyl, and the scraper is used to transfer the vinyl onto the clear transfer tape. This gives me the mirrored vinyl label, which I will then affix to the plexiglass. I prefer to use painter's tape to ensure that the vinyl is being applied centered and level. Should I apply it incorrectly, it is possible to remove the vinyl, however, it could not be reused. I would need to cut a new logo. With the center marked, I went ahead and placed a logo and then used the scraper to set it. And voila, there we have it, a beautiful dry erase board. We are in the process of redoing my workspace. However, in the interim, I did want to get this hung, which means this board will be moved in a month or so. I used standoff screws to mount it, and I opted not to use the anchors quite yet since this will be moved soon. This board is going to be perfect for my many to-do lists. It also make a great mood board. I was so pleased with how this turned out. I made a second dry erase board using black plexiglass and then purchased a set of bright neon glass dry erase markers to use it with it. For the next project, we are going to be creating a shirt with the brand's logo on the front. This is a lightweight, moisture-wicking dry fit material, which is going to be great for organizing jobs. This project requires heat transfer vinyl, which will also be a mirrored cut in Design Space. They always include a little reminder up here, which has saved me a couple times to make sure mirror is on and iron-on material is face shiny side down. The shirt that I am using is a really light gray color, and I thought that the black heat transfer vinyl would look really nice with it. Once the machine finishes cutting out the logo, all of the excess vinyl is weeded out. I'm going to use the Easy Press 3 to iron the vinyl onto this shirt. Cricut has both an app and a website that tells you what the temperature and length of time should be based off of the material that you are working with. It's an extremely helpful resource to reference. Wait until it cools before peeling the heat transfer clear backing away, which is another very satisfying part. I have since ran this through the washer and dryer and it held up wonderfully. I'm very satisfied with the overall look of this work uniform, so to speak. It is a great way to elevate the overall appearance and professionalism of your brand. The third project is going to be a branded doormat, which is going to again utilize the organization station's logo. This was the largest project that I cut, measuring in at 11.5 inches tall by 15 inches wide. The vinyl that I used for this project is called Smart Stencil, which is pretty flexible and it didn't leave a sticky residue on the doormat, which was nice. Due to its size, once it was cut out, painter's tape was used to hold it in place while the logo was weeded out. Again, truly a fun time when it comes to weeding, especially when the letters are this large. Once everything was weeded, transfer tape was placed over the entire stencil. The stencil's backing paper was then removed. As you can see, some of the insides of the O's, A's, and R's came with it. That's okay, we'll plug them back in later. The blank rug is from IKEA. You can find these at Target, Walmart, or any other home improvement store as well. The stencil and transfer tape were centered on the rug, and then the transfer tape was removed. The stencil was very easy to work with and position. At times, I would let it stick to itself and it peeled away just fine. After it was positioned in place, all of the centers of the A's, O's, and R were added back into the stencil. This rug is going to be sprayed with paint, so painter's tape was used to cover any exposed area of the rug. When it came to painting it, it was pretty windy outside, however, it didn't seem to be too big of an issue. Removing the stencil was equally as satisfying as weeding it. There was a little overspray that you can barely see. I'm pretty pleased with the outcome of this project as well, and this is going to end up in my office space once it's complete. Our next project is going to be a branded tote bag for storing odds and ends. I didn't want to use the logo for this project and decided to type out the organization station. This is going to be another iron-on project, which means I need to use heat transfer vinyl, and I also need to set my cut as being mirrored in Design Space. Due to the length of this vinyl, I'm doing 2 passes with the Easy Press 3, 30 seconds for each side of the vinyl. This is what the branded bag looks like afterwards. I wanted to fill it with some items to see how that label would look if the bag was full, so I stuffed it with 2 giant paper towels for reference. This bag is a canvas material that zippers and worked out really well with the heat press. I will note though, I inadvertently tried doing this with a tote bag that had a plastic lining and it melted it. So learn from my mistakes. The last project is going to be a branded mug. Clear mugs are very popular right now. These ones are from Amazon and have been holding up well. I'm going to use the permanent smart vinyl here with the brand's logo. Once the logo is cut and everything is weeded out, transfer paper is going to be used to apply this to the mugs. It has always been a habit to clean the surface with an alcohol wipe. The vinyl tends to adhere better. The logo is placed on the mug and the transferred paper pulls away smoothly. I did run this through the dishwasher and it held up pretty well. However, it's not waterproof and there is the possibility of these vinyl logos coming off at some point. I do love the way that these look when they are filled up with a beverage. There we have it, 5 fun and creative ways to brand your business at home. If you have a business or you create items for businesses, I would love to know about other great branding ideas that you guys have come up with.